Western North Carolina is one of the most beautiful and vibrant areas you could ever call home.
I'm semi-retired myself, and I understand the excitement about making this transition and this stage of life. And it's just not a property that you're buying. It's about choosing a new lifestyle, and it's very, very important.
And when you've got the right guide by your side, the buying process will be smooth and pain-free. And that's where I come in. I'll be with you every step of the way to make sure we avoid all of the pitfalls that so many people experience. But before we go fall in love with that new porch swing and a view with spectacular sunsets, we need to take a look at the common mistakes that many people make. And by doing so, you're going to avoid them.
One of the great drivers up here in Western North Carolina is all about elevation and views. I mean, we are in the mountains, so that's very, very important. But having a high elevation comes with a cost. It's pricey. So you're definitely going to have some compromises there. So think about that. Do you really want to live in the country, or do you want to be near it? Now, yes, it's very appealing to think about that private land, a few acres, being surrounded by nature, and the beauty of being in a rural area. It really is wonderful, but it comes with a cost.
When you relocate to the mountains, one thing many buyers don't think about is how far they might be from the shop around the corner. In some areas, that corner might be a winding 20-minute drive away, and it's not always a quick trip to Lowe's or the grocery store when you run out of something. Planning ahead becomes a lifestyle here, part of the charm and rhythm of rural living.
Living this far out can really have some challenges because you just don't say, honey, I'm going to run to the grocery store and get a loaf of bread. It doesn't work like that because you're oftentimes 20 minutes or more away. And if you have medical appointments, it can be even further. So there's a lot of logistics planning that comes into play with country living. So it's a trade-off. Yes, you can get the peace and the quiet, but you don't have the convenience of living close to a town.
However, it's possible to find a property that gives you that balance of country peace and having some land while still being relatively close to town. For example, this property on the outskirts of downtown Asheville.
Perfect example of having some land and giving you this feel of a country, but yet being really convenient to all of the shopping and things which you might be used to. But another matter to consider is really just the idea of acreage all over. Do you really want 6 acres of land? What are you going to do with it? There's more when you own land like that. Guess what? You still got to cut that grass, and that requires a big tractor. So there's more involved than you realize. Another thing to really consider is square footage. Let's say you're at 2,500 square feet, right now, and you want to downsize some. When we look at this modern home that was also in Asheville and relatively new construction, that was nicely designed at 1,600 square feet, but that's almost a drop of 1,000 square feet. You still need guest bedrooms. You're going to want probably some room for crafts and hobbies, something like that, and there's no garage. A big drop in square footage means you're really going to have to really think about the furniture that you have, what you're going to get rid of, and what you're going to take. There's a big difference. Just think through the reality of what that difference in square footage is going to make for you. So you not only need to think about what you might enjoy right now, what's it going to be like 5 years from now, or 10 years from now. There's a lot of maintenance involved when you own land. If it really is that space that you love, but you don't want the headache of the maintenance with it, then we probably need to be thinking about something that has a relatively quick access to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Whether you go north or south, once you're on the Blue Ridge, there are hundreds of miles that you can travel and a number of trails that you can walk on. So you can enjoy all the outdoors you want, but you don't have to maintain it.
Asheville and the surrounding counties offer some beautiful older homes with a lot of charm and character, like this 1940s property in Tryon. This one has been nicely renovated, but if you are going to buy an older home, you need to be aware that there may be some work needed, or you may want to redo things yourself. So set aside some of your budget for possible renovations if looking at an older home.
If you are interested in something like this, you have to anticipate the time involved in making the renovations. This can be months, even into a year or more, depending upon the scope of work or what you want to do. Older homes really have their charm, there's no question about it, but there's this challenge here with the renovations. So you got to think that through as well.
There are some things to maneuver around when buying a home in Western North Carolina, and some legalities which are unique to this state. And in particular, this would be the due diligence fee. When we're ready to submit the offer for your house that you've selected, there'll be both an earnest money deposit and a due diligence amount which will go directly to the seller, and it's non-refundable. It does help protect the seller, and they are taking their property off the market for an extended period of time. If a buyer begins to walk or decides to walk, they get compensated for it in the due diligence fee. Buyer beware is also a common phrase in real estate here. So home inspections need to be carefully carried out before making an offer. While the seller will provide a residential property disclosure statement, the burden is really on you, the buyer, so I strongly recommend a home inspector. If you are on a private road, the upkeep is on you and your neighbors, and this may or may not be covered under a homeowners association. And if you're interested in something in the house which isn't a fixture, like a washer and dryer, make sure you put it in the contract. Don't worry, I'm the expert here, and it's my job to help you navigate all of these things. And I promise the process is going to be smooth and stress-free.
But right now, it's about setting some priorities, because the last thing we want to do is have conflicting goals. Prioritizing is going to make a huge difference for you. It's going to save you a lot of headache down the road. It's just not a property that you're buying. It's about choosing a new lifestyle, and it's very, very important. You're watching this video because Western North Carolina is in your heart, no question about that. And I think it's time for us to get together and really establish some priorities, some searching criteria, and I want you to know that I'm going to be able to help make this next phase of your life very, very memorable.
If you're thinking about the greater Asheville area, we need to talk. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so we can keep in touch. I'm Frank Wood, real estate consultant at your service.